and welcome to 7 p.m. Beginners Yoga. I'm Chris, and I'm here at the Hatha Yoga Center in Seattle, Washington, in the University District, and it's a nice summer evening here in Seattle, which is welcome after a little stint of gray and rainy weather. So tonight I think I'm just going to do kind of just a well-rounded but relaxing beginner class. And let's start with some breathing. So just finding a seat. I'm sitting on the floor, and you could find your seat on the floor or on a chair. Sometimes it's hard when you're getting started with yoga to sit on the floor, and particularly for any length of time. But lifting up and sitting on a block or on a cushion can make it easier. Easier to find your long spine and to find your breathing. So long neutral spine and free and deep breathing. So just kind of moving around a little bit and feeling into your seat and kind of finding some sense of that you're sitting evenly over the two sit bones from side to side, and that you're not leaning too far forward or slumping back. You're sitting upright. Your shoulders are relaxing and sliding down your back. Your arms are just relaxed. Hands could be palms down on your thighs. And then close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that, or you could also just find a soft gaze in front of you. And then begin to bring your awareness to your breath, and just let your breath be just how it is without changing anything if that's possible. So just notice it as it is before you attempt to manipulate it and change it. So in yoga we breathe in and out through the nose. So breathing in and out through your nose for the duration of the practice, if you can. So feeling the breath. And feel how your body moves with the breath. So as you inhale, feel how your rib cage expands. And let your belly move as well. Let your belly expand as well. You can take one hand and put it on your belly. So inhale. Maybe to the count of about 10 heartbeats. And then exhale. And you can feel at the end of the exhale how the belly draws in to help push the air out. When I say 10 heartbeats, for you that might be less, maybe it's to 8, but I'm just coming up with a kind of what seems to be a reasonable number. So inhale. And keep the length in your spine as you exhale all the air out. Let's do 2 more breaths. Inhale. Letting the belly expand as you inhale. Exhale. Drawing the belly in at the end of the exhale, keeping the length in your spine, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Then inhale. Keeping face relaxed. Exhale. And then just bring your hands, palms down on your legs, and just find your breath again. Just let it be natural. See if you can incorporate this awareness of your breath into your practice today so that your breath is primary. Your breath is more important than anything else in your practice today, like how far you get into a pose or how deep you get into the pose. Let it be all about the breath. And now let's just start to move a little bit. So start to circle around, keep breathing, keeping aware of your breath. And you can move your shoulders, you can let your head move, but you're rounding as you come back and then kind of arching as you come forward, moving in one direction. And then switch directions. Circling around, so you're kind of stirring your rib cage around And moving the spine, and then just kind of circling back to center, and then kind of do a cat-cow. So you're rounding, drawing the belly in, letting your chin drop towards your chest. Inhale, come forward, arching your back, let your head come back, lifting your chin. Exhale, rounding, draw the navel towards the spine, all the air out. Inhale, come forward. And you can let your head just kind of be along for the ride. One more time through, rounding, feeling your vertebrae moving, drawing the belly in, and then coming forward. Your heart comes forward, and then just come back to your seat and feel your spine again. Feeling the breath, and then let's take some twists. So bringing the right hand to the left knee and taking an easy twist. Your left hand is behind you. You're lengthening up through the crown of the head and you're breathing. And then twist in the opposite direction. Don't change your breath. So let your breath be just as full. And then maybe this time let your arms come up and over and just go back and forth a few times, twisting your spine. Turning your head, and then back to center, and then take a side stretch. Bring your left hand down to the floor next to you and look up underneath your right arm. You could bring your palm facing towards the back of the room so your shoulder blade can slide, and then come over to the other side, reaching up, keeping your neck long and in line with the rest of your spine. Nice deep breath. Feeling the stretch as you ground your left sit bone, and then coming back to center. And then let's come to hands and knees. So coming to hands and knees, bringing your shoulders over your wrists, spreading your hands, pelvis over the knees, and let's start some cat-cow in this position. So rounding your spine, exhale, drawing the chin towards the chest, and then inhale. Arching your back, and just moving back and forth between the two. Nice deep breath, and then coming back to your tabletop, and walk your knees back and come into prayer pose for a moment, letting your head come down. And you can just roll your head side to side. Just kind of rolling out your forehead. And then come back to center, take a deep breath. Maybe exhale through the mouth. One more time like that. Sighing. And then coming back up. And let's turn the fingertips back and stretch into the wrists, maybe a little side to side, into your fingers and your palms and your forearms. And then perhaps tucking your toes and bringing your hips back and just stretching into the bottoms of the feet. You could rock a little bit there too. Feeling into the backs of your lower legs and your ankles. And then untuck your toes and let's come up to the front of the mat. So make your way there consciously. And find your standing mountain pose. So just let your arms hang like they're kind of like they're dead weight. Just let them be very heavy and feel your feet, your toes spreading, feeling your arches lifting, feeling strength in your legs. You're grounding through your sacrum and lifting up through the pubic bone and up through your sternum, up through the crown of the head. Let your arms come up. Breathing. Nice deep steady breath. And then exhale and come forward, hinging forward at the hip with your long spine. Long neutral spine, so lifting your tail, keeping the shoulders and the head lifted so your head's not dropping forward and cutting off the breath. You could look down at your feet, just notice your feet, spreading your toes, lengthening the toes out. Feel your arches lifting. One more breath here. And then we'll step the left knee back. Step it back and come down into the lunge with your fingertips on the floor, with your torso right up alongside your inner thigh on the right side. Keeping the head and shoulders lifted, so if you need blocks under your hands to do that, or to come up to the knee with your hands, you can do that. Just taking another breath here, and then you might keep your left hand on the floor, maybe reaching back for your foot. So reaching your right hand back for the top of the left foot. Maybe you're drawing the heel in for a little extra quad stretch and a stretch in the front of your chest. And if you can't get the foot, that's fine. You can just bring your hand back to your sacrum, to your buttock, and then release that and step back up to downward facing dog again. So spreading the hands, wrapping the elbows in, lengthening up, lifting your tail, and bend into one knee and the other, just feeling into the backs of your lower legs, breathing. So moving a little bit. And then let's come to hands and knees again, and find your tabletop position. So that's with a neutral spine, so not too much arch in the back, rounding, just finding the neutral place, head stays lifted. Reach back through your right foot and tuck your toes into the floor, so the ball of your foot is in the floor, and you can rock a little bit, forward and backward. And then come back to center and let your foot come up, reaching back through the heel, toes are pointing down. Finding your breath, and then draw your knee in towards your nose, rounding your back, exhale, inhale, reach. Exhale, round, draw the knee towards the nose, inhale, reach. Exhale, round, knee forward, inhale, reach. And then keeping that leg back, you might let your left arm come up. And if you want a little more, you can also lift the top of your left foot up off the floor, just like a half an inch. Breathing. Nice steady breath, finding your gaze. And releasing that, and then circling your hips. Circling in one direction and in the other. And then we'll come back to hands and knees, back to tabletop. And reach back through the left foot, tucking your toes and the ball of your foot into the floor and rocking a little bit back and forth. And then we'll let that foot come up, toes pointing down, pressing through the heel. And then we'll draw the knee towards the nose. Exhale, reach, inhale, lengthen back. Rounding, exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, draw the knee forward, rounding your spine. Inhale, reach. One more time. Exhale, round. Inhale, reach, and pause there. Pressing through your heel, reaching forward with your right arm, trying to maybe lift the top of your right foot just a little bit off the floor. Drawing the belly up and in, breathing. And releasing that and circling your hips. Circling in one direction and the other. And then coming back to hands and knees, and then let's scoot forward onto your belly and come into Sphinx pose. So bring the elbows about shoulder width, just a little bit in front of your shoulders, and then almost like you're pulling your forearms back towards your body and dragging your belly forward, so you're stretching your belly. And you might lift your navel and keep letting your tailbone reach back towards your heels, so taking a little bit of the compression out of your low back. Keeping loose in your neck so you can look from side to side. And then just let your arms come forward. And just coming into this long prostration. You could bring the palms together in front of you and bend your elbows. Maybe the fingertips come together and the palms come apart. Kind of drawing your shoulder blades down your back, even as you pin your elbows into the floor, and then release that. And sweep your hands back and clasp your hands at your sacrum and roll up. Lift your toes, coming into locust, or an armless cobra, we call it. And you can rock a little bit, side to side. Maybe rocking all the way over onto your right side. And kind of balancing on your side, feeling your left shoulder blade sliding down the back of the rib cage. Keeping the head lifted, you're looking up, maybe. And then rolling back through center and over onto the other side. Breathing. And back onto your belly. For one more breath. And release, bringing your hands under your shoulders, tuck your elbows in by your sides, bend your knees, bring your hips back for a moment, coming through prayer with your toes tucked. And then lifting the hips, and you're back up in your downward facing dog. And just moving a little bit, let's lift your left hand and reach it back for the right lower leg or ankle. Keep wrapping your right elbow in. And then release that and reach for your left lower leg with your right hand. And releasing that. And then we'll step the left foot forward, bringing the right knee down. Coming into our low lunge again. So taking a moment, and we'll let the arms float up. And find your breath. Nice steady breath. And actually we did it differently, didn't we? We came into this lower version. So coming out of that, bringing your fingertips to the floor, coming into this low version of a lunge. So your left thighs kind of up against your torso. Keep lifting the head and shoulders, and you can have your fingertips up on blocks or come to the knee. And then bringing your right hand down like we did on the other side, we'll take a little twist, just reaching the arm up and maybe reaching back for the foot. If that feels comfortable for your body. Might not, it's just an option. You can always just bring your hand back to your sacrum and kind of open your chest. And then release that. And then carefully and thoughtfully, we're going to step forward. So you're going to use some momentum to do that, but you're also going to use the strength of your core and your strong legs to lift up and step forward. So coming back to your forward bend. You've already been here once. So finding the breath. Lifting the tail, keeping the head and shoulders lifting. And then we'll swing the arms up, reaching up. So again, really kind of grounding through your sacrum and lengthening up the front of your body. Exhale, bring the hands together at your heart. And just pause for a moment and just notice your breath. Feeling your heart beating. And then let's step into a wide-legged forward bend. So coming forward, bringing your hands down to blocks or to the floor and bending into one knee and the other and going side to side. You could let your shoulders and your elbows move. And then just coming back to center, let's walk the hands over towards the left lower leg. Let your head relax. And draw that right hip back so you're really feeling length in the right side of your body and the right side of your waistline, all the way up into the armpit. And then walking your hands back through center and over to the right foot or lower leg. And releasing and coming back to center and just moving a little bit into the bend of your knee on one side and the other. And then let's walk our feet back in just a little bit. So we're going to come into a horse pose. So your toes are angling out, and you're going to sit down, keeping the same neutral orientation of your spine and your pelvis, so there's no leaning forward, you're just going straight down. So it's a big opening for your inner thighs. And then let's breathe here. Let's take some breaths here. So inhale the arms up, exhale down. You could interlace your fingers if you like. Inhale them up, release them, and exhale, bring the arms down. Inhaling up through the center. Exhale, keeping your long neutral spine. Nice steady gaze. Inhaling up, exhale, come a little deeper. Inhaling up, exhale, let's do two more. Inhale, exhale, and last one. This time, bring your arms up, and your legs are getting tired, but just stay with it for a couple more breaths. Reach your arms out, maybe press out through your palms, drawing your shoulder blades together, and then straighten the legs, and come forward. And bend into one knee and the other. Letting it be easy. And then let's turn and bring our hands to the front of the mat and step back to downward dog. And let's bring our knees down. So we'll come into this hands and knees, and let's stretch your left leg out to the side. Your toes will be pointing forward. And we'll just open up into the twist. So lift your left arm, stacking your shoulders. You can look up. Opening up. And then bring that hand down. And do a couple of cat-cows with your leg out to the side like that. Feels a little bit funny. And then step that leg back in. And we'll extend the right leg out to the side. And then we'll open up, lifting the right arm, stacking the shoulders, letting your head come back, opening up. And one more breath, bringing that hand down, and do a couple of cat-cows with this leg out to the side. And then step that knee in. And then let's try lifting the left arm up and threading the needle. Bringing the back of your left shoulder to the floor. You can turn your head and come on to lay on the side of your left side of your face, down onto the ground. You could stay right here. You can also walk your feet back and lay on your arm. I'm going to keep my hips up here, still reaching forward with my right arm and kind of wrapping that elbow in. Lengthening the spine, lifting the belly, breathing. Breathing into the back of the left shoulder. And then coming back through center. And this time we'll lift the right arm up, and we'll tuck the right arm through, coming to lay down on the right side of your head and shoulder, and reaching forward with the left arm, wrapping the elbow in, Breathing, lifting your belly. You can walk your feet back and come to lay on your right arm. Or you can just stay right here. I'm getting a pretty good stretch right where I am without doing that, but other people like to lay on the arm. Just another breath or two. And then just coming back up through hands and knees again, and just a couple of cat-cows, like maybe 2 of them, just to kind of come back to your neutral position. And then just come to sit back on your heels for a moment. And spreading your arms out wide, let's bring the right elbow on top and see if you can wrap your forearms so the palms will be together. If that's too hard, because you have a lot of muscle in your shoulders or something is stopping you, you can also just bring your left arm around and kind of in front of the right arm. Keep drawing the right shoulder blade down. If you've got your elbows together and your palms are moving towards each other, lift your elbows and your fingertips and let your shoulder blades slide. And you might turn towards the left. So you're really feeling a stretch in the back of the right shoulder. Keep sliding it down, even as you lift. And then back to center and unwind your arms. Just let them open. Bringing left elbow on top, wrapping your forearms. This is Eagle, Garudasana for the arms. Lifting the elbows and fingertips. Nice, deep, steady breath. And then turning towards the left. Again, you can always not wrap the forearms if that's too much. Breathing, and then unwrap your arms, just let them open up. And then bring your right hand around on top. Maybe you can reach back for the inner border of your scapula, your shoulder blade. And round, like you're giving yourself a hug. And then unwind your arms and open up. And bring left arm on top, reaching back again. See if you can reach for that inner edge of your scapula. And round forward, draw the belly in. And then open the arms, open the chest, and stretch, and release that. And then coming back to hands and knees again, lift your, let's step the left knee forward for pigeon. And we'll extend the right leg back. So your hips are gonna stay square. And you might come forward onto your forearms. And just take a couple of breaths. Letting your spine stay in this neutral position so you're not dropping or rounding the head forward, keeping it lifted. Feeling the stretch in the outer hip, maybe in the side of your leg or inner thigh. Taking a couple more breaths. And then we'll just kind of lean over towards the left and we'll bring the back leg around. And let's extend the left leg. So bringing your right foot over onto the other side of your left thigh, sitting up tall, extending your left leg, and then maybe the hand comes underneath for a twist, so bringing your right hand back behind you and keeping both shoulders down and away from your ears. You're just turning your spine, breathing steadily. Just let your head turn to the place where it starts to feel sticky, and then just back off a little, find the breath. And then turning to face forward again. Bring your right knee right on top of your left knee. If you can do that comfortably without hurting your knee. And then coming into a little bit of a forward bend. So that's with your long spine, coming forward really with the heart, with the hinge at the hip. might be able to reach for your foot, but only if that does not cause you to round forward. You could use a strap as well. So you probably feel that in the left outer hip, maybe in the right outer hip. Kind of take your thumbs and hook them into the hip crease and come forward. And then coming back up, bend your left knee and bring your right ankle on top of your left knee. And just using your hands to kind of get you some lift, feeling your sit bones still on the floor, so you can control how far back you bring your left foot towards your hips. And then just rock a little bit there. And then extend your left leg. And maybe you can pick that right leg up and kind of rock it back and forth, just moving it around in the joint. You can do that without using your elbows too. You can move it like this, or you can put the foot into the crook of your left elbow like you're rocking a baby. And then let's come back to the twist one more time. We started there, so bring your foot back down to the floor, and you're either wrapping your left elbow around the right knee and reaching back with your right hand, or you can also reach under, whichever, and find your twist again, breathing. Nice steady breath. And then let's pick that foot up and swing it back. And we'll come back to hands and knees for a moment where we started and just do a little bit of movement. You can just circle your hips off your ribs, just kind of coming back to feeling centered in your body. And then we'll bring the left knee forward, reaching back with the right leg. And then we'll come down into, actually, I did that wrong. It's right knee forward and left leg back for the other side. Sorry about that. It's like, that feels like I just did that side. So taking a few moments here to feel into the right outer hip, keeping the hips kind of centered, the pelvis is kind of centered over that leg. The breath is steady and flowing. A couple more breaths. Getting the head lifted. And then we'll just kind of lean to the right and we'll swing the left leg around. And this time we'll straighten the right leg. So sitting up tall. So the sole of your left foot is coming to the floor on the other side of your right thigh. And you're flexing, this leg is awake, it's active. And then we'll take the twist, so bringing your right hand maybe underneath the left thigh and turning. Sitting up tall and coming into the twist. Shoulders are sliding down the back of the rib cage. You're lengthening up through the crown of the head. You're breathing. You can feel your rib cage moving with the breath, the belly, even in a twist, there's still movement. And then turning back for a moment and just pause, and then we'll bring the right knee on top of the left knee. So this is like a half steer pose. Maybe you're using a strap or you're just reaching for the foot as you come forward. So pretty big stretch for the right hamstrings, and you might feel that kind of in the outer hamstring muscles. And then of course it's a stretch in the back of the left hip. So breathing. And then coming back up, we'll walk the right sole of the right foot in, bringing your left ankle to your right knee, and we'll just lift your chest. So you can move your foot out further or in closer to your body, but just rocking back and forth with the hip. And then extend the right leg again, and maybe you can reach for that left lower leg with your elbow hooking around the sole of the foot and the knee, or just reaching for it with your hands, and we're just moving the hip around in the joint. And kind of rocking it like a baby. And then we'll just bring that foot back on the outside of the right leg. And we'll take the twist again. So wrapping your elbow around the knee, reaching back with the left hand, or maybe you're reaching underneath. So revisiting the twist. And breathing. And then returning to center and extending both of your legs. You can bring your hands back behind you and just shake them out. And then let's sit up tall. And just bring your legs kind of close together. Sit up tall. And maybe everybody's arms are a different length, but maybe your hands can come down to the floor. And then maybe you can come forward. A strap might be useful. Coming into Paschimottanasana, you're seated forward bend. So we've already done a couple of standing forward bends. So this is just the same thing, but in a different relationship to gravity. Your hands may need to be here in order to keep your spine long. We're not coming forward by rounding. So we're hinging forward at the hip, just like we did when we were standing. So the tail is lifted, keeping the head and shoulders from rounding forward, breathing. And then let's go, so in your home you may have a place where you can come to that is maybe like hip height. So this is about hip height for me, this bar. So that could be a kitchen counter or a dining room table. So coming to that place, and we'll just stand and face forward about a leg's length away, and we're going to bring the right foot up onto that. Could be the back of the sofa, windowsill. So setting yourself up so that your right hip's not hiked up. So you need to find the right thing to put your foot on, because we're not looking for this. So lengthening through both sides of your torso. And if you're coming forward at all, you could tuck your thumb into the hip crease. Again, it's leading with your heart, really. And you're breathing. So there's no sense that you need to get forward by bringing your head forward. You can also clasp your hands behind you and just steadily breathe yourself into the hinge at the front of the hip. Just kind of noticing your feet, so notice the foot that's up on the table or bar. The toes are pointing up and flexing, your foot's flexing. And your standing foot, the toes are roughly pointing straight forward. And then coming back up to stand upright, which you may not have gone forward at all. That may be enough stretch in the hamstring right there with the long spine. Maybe you can twist. So you could open your palms, keep your right shoulder blades sliding. So you're just turning your body, your upper body. Your legs are staying right where they are. Most of the twist happens in the mid to upper back. And watch for your neck. Sometimes we pull ourselves into the twist by turning our head a lot. See if you can just keep your neck easy. You're turning your head and looking back, but not to any degree that is uncomfortable for the neck. Breathing. And then let's turn again to face forward. And bring your right foot forward of your left foot, left foot quite a bit. And then kind of tucking this hip under and reaching up, coming into a side stretch. So the stretch is from the outer edge of the sole of your left foot all the way up your leg, up your waistline, up through the fingertips. And you're kind of turning to open the chest. You could look up. You can look straight ahead. Just keep the neck from dropping. So keep it long. Big stretch, and then release that. And then thoughtfully stepping off that. And then we'll come to the other side. So we'll stand on the right foot. Again, find your standing foot on the floor. And then lift the left leg up. So the toes of the left foot are pointing up. Your foot's not angling out to the side or doing anything too wonky. You could tuck your left thumb into the hip crease and just slowly breathing yourself forward with this long neutral spine. So keeping your tail lifted, you're not rounding. If you're rounding like this, just come back up. You don't need to come forward. That's just adding a little intensity to the stretch of the back of the leg if you need it, but it's not necessary. More important to keep your breath in your spine. Nice, steady breath. And then coming back up. And we'll take the twist. So we're just turning the spine, keeping the legs right where they are, opening the palms, reaching back, letting your shoulder blades slide down the rib cage so you're not punching up. If your palms are open, that helps to open the shoulder. Find the breath. And one more breath there, and then we'll turn to face ourselves. And then the foot is going to come forward. Maybe you're on your dining room table or on the back of your couch. So bringing that left foot forward. Your toes of your right foot are pointing forward. So again, you're going to feel the stretch all the way up the right side of your body, up through the fingertips. Watch for the head to drop. Keep the neck long. Find your breath. You might feel a really nice stretch here in this waistline on your right side, getting into the rib cage. And then coming back up and stepping off whatever surface you're using. And just come into a forward bend. You can bring your hands onto that surface. If you have something to hold on to, you could grip it and let your hips come back, or you can just rest your hands right on there and just move your hips a little. Kind of wrapping your elbows in and feeling widening in the middle of your back is broadening. And then you could walk forward and put the elbows on that surface and press your fingertips together, pushing your palms apart and bending your elbows, bringing the hands back to the center of your back. Breathing. Watch your head from drop. We don't want to drop the head forward. Cut off the breath. Keep it long. And releasing that. And then just let your arms hang and swing around a little bit. And then we did pigeon on the floor. Now let's try it on this surface that you're using. I'm using my mat so that it's more comfortable, so it's padded. I'm going to stand on my left foot and lift my right foot up. You can do this on a chair, the seat of a chair, if that's more comfortable. And of course, the standing leg could be back further if you're doing it on a lower surface. This is pretty high. You could do it on your dining room table if your family doesn't mind. But I've done this with a folding chair. So you're doing this pigeon, but standing. So So taking a few breaths, letting these muscles in the back of your hip, your rotator muscles kind of soften, release a little bit, stretch. Just another breath or two there. And then you might bring your right hand back onto your lower back and just take a little twist, looking back over the shoulder, if you can. And then releasing, and then we'll step that leg down and off. And then we'll stand on the right leg and lift the left leg up. So flex your left foot. And you're coming into pigeon with your left leg elevated on a chair or on the table. You can lift your heel of your right foot if you need to. I have to get up on the bar comfortably, at least to begin with, and then I can kind of work my heel down as my muscles start to release a little bit in my left outer hip. Nice steady breath. Long neutral spine. It's really easy to kind of round forward in this pose, but don't do it. Stay lengthening. Just another breath. Feel that in the outer hip, and then bring your left hand back and just take a little twist, looking back over your left shoulder. And releasing and stepping off. And let's just take our mat. Hopefully most of you have a mat at home. So take your mat and roll it up tight. Really tight. Making a nice, we call it a burrito, a knee burrito. So you're gonna roll it up really tight, and then you're gonna bring that mat behind the knees and come to sit with the mat in between your flexed legs. And it's pretty intense. It's pretty sensational. So just relax, but keep your nice long spine and find your breath. And take a few breaths here. Tonight it's extra sensational for me. So you might just readjust the mat. You could bring it in a little tighter. Some people like to tuck their toes and do it like that. And if you do that, you could also try lifting the arms. So watch for the arch of the low back or the rounding. Keep it neutral. Keep the head lengthening up. Feeling the bottoms of your feet stretching. And release it and take it out. And put it in front of you. And then we'll just come and we'll bring the balls of the feet onto that rolled up mat and come into a forward bend. So feeling how the backs of your legs might feel a little bit more comfortable in your forward bend. You could also try bringing your heels onto that mat. Do it a little bit wider than like hip width, with the toes slightly turned out, and come into a squat with your heels up on the mat, if you can. So lengthening your spine up, you can press your elbows into your knees. So dropping the hips and lengthening up. And then release that, and take the burrito off to the side, and come back down, and just sit for a moment. You could round your spine intentionally, letting your head drop. I'm going to grab a strap. You might have one at home, a yoga strap, or you might have something you can use in lieu of a yoga strap, like a belt. Maybe a belt for a bathrobe, something like that. So have that handy. And then we're just going to roll onto our back. So come all the way down onto your back. And just, I'm going to move this guy out of the way. And just bending your knees, let your back kind of relax onto the floor. And take your strap, let's do some stretching of the legs here on our back. So you keep your left knee bent and the sole of your left foot on the floor. Bring the strap underneath the ball of your foot. And just using the strap to make your arms longer so that your shoulders can relax. Flexing your foot, you're just going to draw that leg back, straight back, so it's coming back over the face, and keep pressing the tailbone back towards the floor, so you're not rolling your lower back to get into this position. You're working with your neutral spine. And then from there, you could take the strap into the right hand and let that foot come out to the side, to the right side. You could bring your left arm out for counterbalance and maybe your left knee. A little more challenge would be to straighten your left leg. Now find your nice steady breath. And then bring that leg straight back up. Take the strap in your left hand. Bring your right arm out to the side. And just let the leg come over, keeping the lower back on the floor. So you're not letting it come up, but you're bringing the leg all the way over so you'll feel that stretch in the hip and in the outer part of your thigh. And then let the hip lift up and bring the foot over further. Using the strap, you could keep your right shoulder on the floor, maybe even taking your thumb and kind of rolling this hip down, this right hip down, lengthening through both sides of your torso, breathing, and then bringing that leg back up. And just take one more time of stretching through the center. This time with your left leg straight. You can also bend the knee if that's too much. So you're basically in the splits on your back. And then release that foot. And then we'll do the left leg. So bring the left leg up. Strap under the ball of your left foot. And we'll keep the right knee bent to begin. So flexing the left foot, using the strap to keep your shoulders relaxed as you kind of pull the foot towards you. Nice steady breath. And then we'll take the strap in the left hand, the right arm comes out to the side. You can even drop your right knee over towards the right as you bring your left foot over towards the left. So you have some counterbalance. So feeling the stretch on the inner left thigh. Breathing. And then bringing that leg back up. And extending your right leg, taking the strap into your right hand. And then I like to tuck my thumb into the left hip and kind of draw it down as you bring your left leg over towards the right without lifting your low back up. Keep it on the floor. And then slowly picking the hip up, you could bring your left arm out to the side, bringing the right foot over, the right leg over, and you're in the twist. I like to keep my left shoulder on the floor, looking back over the left shoulder. Breathing, and then bringing that foot back up. This time you have your leg extended, your right leg extended. And just take a breath here, drawing that foot back, and releasing. And just set your strap off to the side. And just lengthen out, and then draw the knees in towards the chest. And rock a little bit side to side. And then let's get a ball. So I'm going to grab a ball. So most of you who've been following along know that we use these small child-sized basketballs here at the Hatha Yoga Center. So we're going to take a ball, come on down, and onto the back again. Bring the ball underneath the sacrum. And just start by pressing your tailbone into the ball, and then lifting it, so you're just moving your pelvis. Kind of doing a little cat-cow-like thing with the low back. And then keeping your tailbone pressing into the ball, bring your legs up, keeping the heels together, toes apart, arms out to the sides, or you can reach for the ball if you feel like you're unstable. Let's inhale the right heel towards the floor, pause, press the tailbone into the ball, and exhale it back up. Inhale the left heel towards the floor, pause, exhale, back up. And a couple more times with one leg. Don't forget to press your tailbone into the ball as you bring the leg back up. And then let's do it with, just take a moment and bend the knees and rock a little bit. And then let's do it with both legs. So bringing both legs up, heels together, toes apart. We'll inhale the heels down, press your tailbone into the ball, and exhale back up. Let's do that a few times. Inhaling down, keeping the tailbone pressing into the ball. Exhale back up. Try not to use momentum as much as you're using your muscular effort and strength to move slowly. Inhale, heels down towards the floor, pressing tailbone in, exhale back up. This time, we're going to bring the heels down and we're going to pause and hover. Keep pressing tailbone into the ball and lengthening your belly, and then let your feet come down. And you'll be in a little bit of a back bend over the ball. You can always bend the knees if that's too much. You might feel like you're tucking a little bit in your pelvis and just allowing the front of the hips to open. A passive opening of the front of the hips. I'm giving myself a little belly rub. And then walking your feet back in, and you'll be in a supported bridge pose, just staying there for a couple breaths. And then let's come off the ball and take the ball and put it in between the knees. And squeeze the ball, bringing your arms out to the sides, and let your knees go side to side, squeezing the ball. Go slow. And then maybe the next time you bring your knees over towards the left, maybe you straighten the top leg and pause. You could also straighten both legs. And if you want to do that, then put the ball between your ankles. And then come back through center and over to the other side. Maybe you have the ball in between the knees and the top leg is straight, or maybe just in between the knees, or maybe this variation where you're holding it between your ankles. And then back up, and bring it back in between your thighs, squeezing the ball, bringing your feet to the floor, and rolling up, coming up into bridge pose while you squeeze the ball. So you're adducting your thighs, drawing them together, and then roll down. And then roll up and down a couple times as you squeeze the ball. And then take the ball out. And let's bring the ball underneath the upper back. And so bring your hands back and support your head and your neck. And into your upper back. You could also come into the lats underneath your armpits. Even just kind of draping over the ball. And if you're going to do that here on your back, you might want to put some pillows under your head. You could come into we call fish over a ball. So the ball's kind of down in your lower thoracic spine. And you might need your head to be lifted on a pillow. If it touches the floor, you could just do this. Just making sure you can breathe and swallow and then coming back up and just rolling a little bit again, supporting your head. And maybe bringing the ball down into your lower back. You can pick your feet up and just kind of rolling side to side. Just rolling out some of the tension in your muscles. You could bring the ball underneath the outer hip, say on your left side. You can do it like this, laying down, or you could also come and I like to sit on it like this and then get it into the back of your left hip, into the rotators. Oops, having a little issue there with the camera. Taking your time and breathing. And you might switch and bring the ball over onto your the outer part of your thigh, your IT band. You might step your right foot over if you're on the left thigh. That's pretty sensational. And then maybe rolling over, bringing your right knee forward and getting into the quads. So kind of choosing how much body weight you're putting into the ball as you roll. You can go side to side, but I kind of like staying with the muscle fibers going up and down. Keep breathing as you do this. Make sure your breath isn't stopping. Pretty intense. And then we'll just come off that ball and we'll bring the ball underneath the opposite hip, right hip, getting into the back of the hip. And breathing. And then moving into the right thigh, so going down the side of your thigh, the IT band, very tight band of tissue there, so you can kind of regulate how much body weight you're giving over to the ball, and then turning and bringing the left knee forward and getting into the quads on the front of the thigh. Maybe even into the inner thigh a little bit. Just a couple more breaths there. And then we'll release that and take the ball. Come into frog pose. Bring the feet together and knees apart. Maybe bringing the ball under your forehead. Might be too much to do both of those things at once, but you could try. Kind of like scratching your head and rubbing your tummy at the same time. But you could try. And then coming forward, bringing the knees together, but stay on the ball with your forehead and give yourself a little facial rub with the ball, getting into the temples and around on the forehead. It feels pretty good. Into the cheeks and jaw. Especially in these times during this pandemic where we can't go have people like physical therapists or other kinds of body workers, massage therapists. I mean, now we're able to do some of those things again, but taking care of ourselves in different ways. And then just take the ball and let's come onto our back and bring the ball back behind the head and let your head go side to side. And you can have your ball pumped up to however full you like it. If it's squishier, it might feel better. I like it pretty hard, pretty pumped up. And then just pause for a moment and let the back of your head and neck press into the ball. It might make you a little sleepy. And then take the ball out, set it off to the side, and just come onto your back, bring the soles of your feet together. Actually, let's go just a little bit let's take a twist. So let's draw the right knee in towards the chest and just move the hip a little bit, circling it around a little bit, and then we'll just take it over to the right, to the left, bringing your right arm out, maybe looking back over the right shoulder. And then coming back onto your back, this time we'll extend the right leg and draw the left knee in. And then take a twist. Extending your left arm out. Maybe looking back over the left shoulder. And breathing. And then rolling back onto your back. If you can, you could try reaching for your feet and do a little quick roll in your happy baby from side to side. If you can't reach your feet, you can also just reach for the backs of your legs. And then we'll bring the soles of the feet together. And the knees wide apart, bringing your arms up, maybe in overclasping elbows. Take a couple breaths there. Nice deep breaths. And then extending your legs. And then bringing your arms down by your sides, the backs of your hands to the floor, and releasing your body, relaxing back. Finding your breath, letting it be easy, and moving into your corpse pose, your final resting pose. I'm going to come to a seat. You could stay there on your back for a few breaths. Breathing, surrendering your body, really surrendering the weight of your body to gravity. So taking a few moments to let the effects of your practice kind of integrate and to feel the good effects of your practice tonight, taking from it what has been beneficial for you and leaving behind what may not have served you. Taking a couple more breaths there on your back, really softening against the floor, noticing if you can release a little more fully the muscles in the back of your body, your belly soft, feeling the breath rise and fall of your belly and your chest with the breath. And then you might roll onto your side and come back to your seat and just finishing where we started. So coming back and finding your seat. I'm sitting up on a thin yoga block. You could sit up on something or even sitting on a chair if you need to. So finding the length in your spine and finding your breath again, just like you did, breathing in and out through the nose. Keeping that relaxed face. You might find your gaze or close your eyes. Feeling length in the spine. So inhaling to the count of about 10 heartbeats. And then pause at the top and retain the breath. Let your shoulders relax. Hold the breath in. And then exhale all the air out. About the same length, about to 10 heartbeats. Inhale. And pause at the top. Retain your breath. Let your shoulders relax. Face is relaxed. Exhale, keeping the length in the spine as you exhale all the air out. And one more breath like that. Inhale. Filling your lungs. Pause at the top. Retain your breath. Hold it in. Release the shoulders. Exhale all the air out. And then let your breath come back to its own natural breathing rhythm. In and out through the nose. Then you might bring your hands together at your heart and just pause for a moment. Bowing your head to your own practice, to your own inner teacher, your higher self, or your higher power. Namaste, and thank you so much. I was very sleepy tonight. And I hope you have a good rest of your evening, or if you're watching later, you have a great day. Thank you so much for all of your support of the Hatha Yoga Center. Namaste.